Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your daily dose of zombies news from the game and its community here on COD Zombies HQ. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We've got a really interesting show for you, so let's kick things right off with our first story. Now, the beginning of this story has its roots in a few clips I've seen of Firebase Z taken several days ago, where certain players playing Firebase Z had their textures and the floor of the map glitch out on them for whatever reason, allowing them to see what's underneath the map of Firebase Z, and they specifically noticed some kind of object floating underneath the military barracks area of the map itself. There was some theories that it could be related to a unfound Easter egg on Firebase Z, where an asset for an Easter egg is spawned onto the map early so that when the Easter egg is actually triggered, the asset can instantly move to the location where it's needed without having to be loaded again. Well, it turns out that theory is only half right, because today, thanks to Josh or ModBreach over on Twitter, he sent me the first clear video I've seen of what this actual asset looks like that people have been talking and speculating about, where we can finally positively identify what this thing is. Initially, I heard people saying that it could be like a reused asset from some kind of chaos storyline map back in Black Ops 4, but that's not the case. Remember how before we talked about Treyarch preloading assets on the map so they can instantly blip to a location when they're needed? Well, that's what this is, and what this is exactly is the dark ether blob that spawns in this building during the main Easter egg on the map. When you actually complete the step to get this dark ether portal to spawn in, instead of loading it back in, it simply teleports the already loaded asset to the location where it needs to be. So while it is related to an Easter egg on the map, it's related to the main Easter egg that has already been found out. Next up, I wanted to comment on this because I've been seeing these kinds of images being passed around. The specific images I'm talking about were taken from an alpha build of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, so I can't put it on the screen due to obvious copyright implications, but what it is an image that shows off some of the game modes that were available in the early builds of Black Ops Cold War that include the two new major game modes that were introduced with Cold War, the PlayStation exclusive Onslaught mode, as well as the just announced Outbreak mode. Along with those two Cold War specific game modes, it lists a bunch of game modes that were available for Black Ops 4 specifically, including Rush, a tutorial mode, and the Gauntlet mode, as well as an unreleased Treyarch custom mutations feature that never ended up getting introduced into that game. I've seen some discussion that, hey, that might mean in the future that Treyarch is looking to re-implement a Rust or the Gauntlet mode into Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, but with just how much of Cold War Zombies was built off of the base of Black Ops 4, it's really hard to determine what in this game is straight up new content coming to the game and what is just reused content that's constantly being dug up. But the biggest takeaway from this could be that this new Outbreak game mode has been in development for Cold War Zombies ever since its alphas. So Treyarch has been working on this for quite some time now, obviously only now deciding to release it. Now moving on to our third story of the day, where it's been noticed, again thanks to some beta gameplay of Cold War, that end up revealing what the upcoming Tier 4 and Tier 5 upgrades will be to two of the most popular and, in my opinion, effective perks in this game, Juggernog and Stamin-Up. So let's go ahead and start with Jugg. The Tier 4 upgrade for Juggernog will make you invulnerable to your own explosive damage, essentially mixing up one of the effects of PhD into the Juggernog perk itself, so you can go ahead and use your launchers or nades or ray gun firing it down at your feet without having to worry about it damaging you. So that's definitely a massive benefit to the perk itself that I honestly wasn't expecting to be tied to the Juggernog perk. But the Tier 5 upgrade for Juggernog is a little bit more on brand, where what this Tier 5 upgrade of Juggernog will do is essentially enable you to survive one extra hit from any kind of damage, any kind of zombie, or any kind of special infected at the cost of your armor. So, for example, let's say you're playing a game of zombies, you have 2 bars of armor remaining, you get attacked by a horde of zombies, they're swiping at you, you only have 10 health remaining and a little bit of your armor left. If a zombie would have swiped you again, it would have done over 10 damage and you would have gone down. But with the tier 5 Juggernog perk enabled, instead of instantly going down when you have that 10 health, what it will do is instead of damaging you and knocking you down, it'll simply absorb all of that damage into breaking the rest of your armor, enabling you to survive that hit, which could be a really big deal where that one extra hit is the difference between you going down and staying alive. Now, of course, there is the cost associated to it. If you are going to take that one extra hit where you would have gone down, it will destroy all of your armor. So if you even had like 2 bars of armor and you take that last hit, those 2 bars of armor will be gonzo alonzo. You're gonna have to refill them from an armor station or by a carpenter in order to get them back. But all in all, that's a worthwhile trade-off to make sure you're staying alive in a zombies match. Now, in terms of Stamin-Up, the tier 4 and tier 5 upgrades are slightly more up in the air, but we've got a pretty good idea of what they're going to be, where one of the tiers will likely enable you to use equipment while you're sprinting, meaning you can be sprinting, chucking a frag grenade or C4 without having to worry about stopping or slowing down. And the other upgrade will likely be some kind of effect to either enabling you to maintain your full sprint speed rather than having to slow down to the slower sprint when you run out of stamina. Either that or effects that happen in the game that slow you down for whatever reason. That movement slowdown will be reduced by 50%. So not quite as beneficial as the tier 4 and tier 5 upgrades for Juggernog is likely to be, but still the perk will be objectively even better with these upgrades completed. There is also some general information about what the other tiers for other perks could be. So for example, for Speed Cola, it's likely that one of the upgrade tiers will enable you to spin the mystery box a whole lot faster in a very similar way to the Time Slip perk from Black Ops 4. For the other field upgrades in the game, well, we know the 2 specific tiers for the Aether Shroud upgrade, which we talked about yesterday. For the Mine and Frost Blast field upgrades, those will simply let you use them 3 times per charge. So for the probably minority of people that use Mines and or Frost Blast, you'll get a little bit more extra mileage out of them. And in terms of another popular field upgrade, Ring of Fire, it's likely that one of the tiers will extend the duration that your Ring of Fire is active by another 5 seconds. Fairly significant amount of time for a field upgrade to be active. But guys, that wraps up the news today. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. With these images of the alpha game mode menu for Cold War and having Outbreak already on there all the way back in alpha, it really does once again demonstrate that Treyarch is going to be putting a lot of effort into this new Outbreak game mode. And while we know a lot of details about it, Treyarch has promised that they will be going in depth about what exactly this thing is very, very soon. So I'm excited to see what they have to say. But I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you with another Zombies news video tomorrow. Peace.